us and I talked to her on the phone about going there, we just expected to do the show and come home. We never thought anything more about it. I went from one day getting on my first plane to here's a career, here are the people at the top of the industry, and you got them. You're there. And it was very fast. I mean, it was literally overnight. I meet Ellen DeGeneres. At that point, she introduces me to Guy Osseri, who was managing Madonna at the time, now manages Madonna and U2, and Troy Carter, who's managing Lady Gaga.
Well, we have somebody on the line right now.
Uh-oh.
Gaga?
Hi, Ellen.
Hi.
I'm good. Hi, Greyson.
Hi, Miss Gaga.
And she said, this is the team that I, want to give you, and she said, we're talking to Jimmy Iovine at Interscope Records right now. And I said, Intercourse Records, what is that? And they said, no, Interscope, it's the biggest record label on earth. And I said, cool, sign me up. Now, looking at that room of people that Ellen introduced us to, we knew that they were big, but I mean, those were very big players in the game. And you gotta do it, like you can't. This man manages Madonna, and this one manages Lady Gaga, and like, these guys know what's up. And they want to sign me to the biggest record label in the world. You gotta do it. We went back to her dressing room, I think, one more time, and she said, we'll be in touch and go back home and relax because it's getting ready to be crazy, and she was right. We went home, and the next day, all of it started to unravel. Once it got really crazy, though, was when we started having, like, literally people coming to the door. The phone is ringing off the wall. People calling from all over the world, and people were showing up at the front door. We had a rep from Warner Brothers who had flown to Oklahoma City and had rented a car. There was this huge hailstorm out of nowhere. Now, as Oklahomans know that when it really starts to hail, you pull over. The ground was covered like snow. This man is from Los Angeles, has a rented Escalade, and blew out all of his windows and windshield and everything. And his rental car was smashed, all the windows were out from the hail, and he's like, he had an accent, he said, oh my God, this place is crazy. And then like ends up coming to our house and is like, look at my car, please, can I talk to you? And my dad had to turn him away and say he's already with Interscope. And the guy's like, oh my God, this sucks. I came back home after the first show and was maybe here for 2 weeks. And then I went right back out to LA. I was introduced to Simply Instilled, and I got into a studio for the first time ever. This is a kid who had written 3 songs and had played 1 song, and now you're in a recording studio.
I don't live in LA right now. I'm just here to record my songs. My favorite part about it is when I go into the vocal booth and I put those big headphones on, I start singing and I really get into it, and I love it. I love recording.
Before the album came out, yeah, I mean, I was going into grocery stores and people were recognizing me. I was going anywhere I would go. Someone would stop for a picture. So yeah, that fame definitely kicked in way before the album even released. And I started doing promo even before the album released. While I was writing in LA, they would be sending me off to New York to do interviews with magazines. And it really is funny because when you're in that big of an environment and when you're with that big of a label like Interscope, it's almost like boot camp. Everything was so micromanaged at that point where I'm just a kid, like, never been in an interview before.
Gray's tired. In the second day of promo, now today is show day, yay!
I'm going to New York, I'm flying back all these places. I mean, quickly it became like a thing, very fast. There was no like stalling in second gear. It was like, we're at 6, go. My first tour was I had opened for Miranda Cosgrove. If you remember, she was the star in iCarly. I love Miranda and I really enjoyed our time together and getting to know her through that tour, but when you're opening for someone, you want your show to be 1,000,000 times better than the headliner's show. And I worked very hard on making sure that our show stuck into people's heads. And this is a 13-year-old kid talking, and even still I had those thoughts in my head. So it was my very first tour. Still very fresh into the game. That was my first time ever being in a bus, first time ever playing with a band. Looking back, it's like one of my happiest memories of everything, because it was first time out into the world. My next tour was with Cody Simpson. That was probably my first experience that I had had with a musician who's not only my age, but also like fighting for the same demographic while we're both on stage together. And that competitive energy certainly came out during that tour. Even though Cody, like, very close to his family and very close to Cody, and I mean, love those guys, but they're still like, you put it on an artist and artist together, like, we're gonna wanna make sure that my show's better than his. He's gonna wanna make sure that his show's better than mine. We had finally started to get the album together. Interscope was very happy with how things were going. They were happy with the music, and very positive vibes in that building. There was so much positivity because we were off the video, like coming off the video, there was still a lot of press attention. Everyone was really excited about this record. And so that's probably why those tours were so good. And so it was time to release the record.